In today's video, we will be looking at 5 political prisoners who went on to become leaders. Number 5. Aung San Suu Kyi. The narrative of Suu Kyi is one steeped in legendary proportions. Her father, a prominent politician, fell victim to assassination when she was just 2 years old, leaving her mother to raise her single-handedly. Later in life, Suu Kyi embarked on her own journey, marrying and raising children before returning to her homeland of Burma, now known as Myanmar, to care for her ailing mother. It was during this period that Suu Kyi became entangled in the political landscape, participating in peaceful protests against the oppressive regime led by U Ne Win. However, Suu Kyi's activism drew the ire of the military government of the newly established Union of Myanmar, resulting in her confinement to house arrest. Despite her restricted circumstances, she garnered international acclaim, being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, while also enduring personal tragedy with the passing of her husband. Undeterred by political oppression and threats of violence, Suu Kyi steadfastly pursued her political goals, ultimately steering the nation towards its inaugural democratic elections, which culminated in a historic victory for Suu Kyi and her National League for Democracy party. Following her electoral triumph, Suu Kyi assumed multiple ministerial roles within the new government, relinquishing 2 of them over time. Additionally, she was bestowed with the title of State Counselor, akin to that of a Prime Minister, elevating her status above the President himself. Number 4. Jawaharlal Nehru. Nehru's staunch anti-colonial stance led to his arrest and imprisonment on 9 occasions, accumulating to over 9 years of incarceration throughout his various spells behind bars. Following his sojourn in Europe, he returned to India, emerging as an early advocate for the nation's independence and assuming leadership among the burgeoning intellectual youth. However, the colonial authorities did not make his path to freedom an easy one. In a pivotal moment in 1929, Nehru was elected president of the Lahore session of the Indian National Congress, spearheading the organization's mission for Indian independence. Yet, his advocacy landed him in prison multiple times between 1930 and 1935. Further arrests followed, notably in 1940 for his opposition to India's involvement in World War II, and once more in 1942, marking his lengthiest period of confinement. Nearly 5 years after serving his final sentence, Nehru ascended to the role of India's first prime minister upon the nation's attainment of independence. Number 3. Václav Havel. Despite enduring numerous incarcerations throughout his tumultuous 40s, Václav Havel managed to carve out an impressive legacy against all odds. With the collapse of communism and the Soviet Union, Czechoslovakia found itself in need of a leader who had weathered the storm. Enter Havel, a playwright, poet, and dissident who rose to prominence after participating in anti-government demonstrations in Prague. As the figurehead of the Civic Forum, a coalition of non-communist opposition groups advocating for change, Havel played a pivotal role in negotiating the Velvet Revolution, a peaceful transition of power that culminated in a bloodless pact between coalition factions. In December 1989, he was elected as interim president of Czechoslovakia, a position he retained after being re-elected in July 1990. In doing so, he became the country's first non-communist leader since 1948, leaving an indelible mark on Czechoslovakia's history. Number 2. Anwar Ibrahim. Before ascending to the pinnacle of power, Ibrahim endured nearly a decade behind bars on charges that some argue were politically motivated. His initial incarceration, a 6-year stint beginning in 1999, stemmed from allegations of corruption. While still serving this sentence, he faced additional legal woes, receiving a 9-year prison term for charges related to sodomy, a crime under the laws of the predominantly Muslim nation, a law that has since been repealed. To grasp Ibrahim's narrative fully, one must delve into his complex relationship with the long-standing Malaysian Prime Minister, Mahathir bin Mohamad. Initially, their rapport was amicable, but tensions arose when they clashed over strategies for navigating the Asian financial crises. Following their disagreement, Ibrahim was ousted from his position and subsequently convicted. Fast forward to May 2018, when the 92-year-old Mahathir made a remarkable pledge. If re-elected as Prime Minister, he would seek a royal pardon for Ibrahim. True to his word, Mahathir secured the pardon from Sultan Muhammad V. Just 5 days later, Ibrahim was released from custody, resuming his political career with fervor. In 2018, he secured a seat in Parliament, and 4 years later, in 2022, he ascended to the role of Prime Minister, marking a remarkable journey from incarceration to the pinnacle of Malaysian politics. Number 1. Ho Chi Minh. Emerging from humble beginnings in the era of French colonial dominance, Ho embarked on his political journey from the heart of France, where he fervently embraced socialism. Organizing the Vietnamese diaspora into a cohesive movement, he garnered attention from influential circles. A dedicated admirer of Leninist ideology and the socialist ethos of Russia, Ho frequently journeyed to Moscow, seeking refuge from the prevailing authorities who favored continued French rule in Vietnam. However, when France fell to German forces in the early stages of World War II, Ho seized the moment to advance his cause. Establishing the Vietnam Doc Lap Dung Minh Hoi, League for the Independence of Vietnam, he sought assistance from Chinese leaders, albeit facing distrust due to his communist leanings, resulting in an 18-month stint behind bars in a Chinese prison. With the demise of two formidable adversaries of the Viet Minh, Japan at the hands of the USA and France at the mercy of the Germans, the path to independence was cleared. Collaborating with the United States against Japan, Ho Chi Minh capitalized on Japan's defeat to boldly declare Vietnam's independence.